I'm Jerry Agar in for Ezra Levant. He has a special report for you on Monday. Oklahomans voted 70% in favor of banning Sharia law from their courtrooms. A federal appeals court struck down the ban in what some Muslim groups see as a victory. One of the people who has been warning us about the danger of Sharia law coming to North America is blogger, activist, and author of Stop the Islamization of America, Pamela Geller. Pamela, welcome.
Thank you, Jerry, for having me.
Surprised by this latest development, or was this what you expected might happen?
Not at all surprised. We knew all along that it was poorly written, poorly executed, based on a state constitutional amendment. It would never work. So I think what was important about the Oklahoma legislation is that 70% of the people in Oklahoma voted for it, which shows you the sentiment, because in America you can never get 70% of the American people to agree on anything, except, of course, the Ground Zero Mosque. They all oppose that. 70% oppose that as well. So we did not expect a ruling any other way, but I think it does bear noting that American law for American courts, the foreign law prohibition, has passed in 3 states, and that has never been challenged. And what we're seeking to do here is uphold constitutional freedoms and constitutional rights, which, of course, it is incumbent upon us to do that.
Well, there have been people all the way from the Supreme Court down to whoever has weighed in on this saying, well, we need to look at international law. We need to look at international examples. And after all, what's the harm, Pamela?
Well, the harm is in the Sharia. It's an authoritative system, a political system that subjugates non-Muslims, that restricts free speech. And there is not equal rights for all. And we have to be vigilant, because we see, for example, in Pennsylvania, where a Muslim died and left his estate to be distributed according to Islamic law. And so you had the judge actually give 2/3 to the son and 1/3 to the daughter. And this is patently wrong, and this must be stopped. My fear, clearly, as an American and a proponent and a defender of free speech, is restrictions on free speech via these, blasphemy laws that are euphemistically called hate speech laws. And that's where we must be very careful.
Is there a difference between being anti-Sharia law and anti-Muslim?
Oh, please. This is patently ridiculous. This is what they do. This is the club which they yield to, beat the American people into submission. It's not anti-Muslim. Sharia is a radical and extreme ideology that subjugates and suppresses the rights of women, that subjugates and persecutes non-Muslims, that restricts free speech. Yes, this should be prohibited in America. I can't speak for other countries. If they want that, they can be my guests. But here in America, we're not going to stand for it. We're going to fight it all the way.
One of the organizations fighting the other side of this battle against you, Pamela, is CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. And I think that that's an organization Americans should take the time to look into as well.
You think?
I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, here is a Hamas-tied group whose leadership has been convicted, serving time for funding terror, funding Hamas. They were named as unindicted co-conspirators in the largest Hamas funding trial in our nation's history, the Holy Land Foundation trial. Of course, we have something of an Islamophilic president, so the Department of Justice has scuttled the prosecutions of those named. But I am hoping that with the new president that we can expect to get in November 2012, that we will vigorously pursue the Muslim Brotherhood groups in America who, according to a captioned internal document, stated their goal was to, quote, destroy Western civilization from within and sabotage its miserable house. So these people that are looking to overthrow the American government should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, particularly when they're raising money for jihadist groups and organizations.
Let's circle back to where we started here. 70% of Oklahomans voted to ban Sharia law from their courtrooms. This got overturned in a court. You said you expected this, Pamela, because it was poorly written. So is there an opportunity now to come back and write the thing correctly and do it again?
I should hope so. As I said, 3 states have already passed the foreign law prohibition, and we are looking at 23 other states that it's now currently being considered. If you want to see the proper the proper template, as it were, or verbiage, you can go to atlasshrugs.com. I have the template up on the site that was written by David Yerushalmi, American Law for American Courts, and it will be passed, and it will be passed in 50 states, and we will not subjugate women, and we will not have the testimony of a woman be worth less than half of a man's, and we will not have an institutionalized Jew hatred. These are things that are in the Sharia. Now, just because we don't talk about them doesn't exist. You can avoid reality, but you cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. So I do expect them to go back to the drawing board in Oklahoma and write the legislation as it is written and passed, as I said, and passed in 3 states. And I'm sure that it will get passed. It was the way the Oklahoma Amendment was written. It was the way it was executed. It was sophomoric. And I don't mean that, I'm not trying to be pejorative, it's just a fact. And we never expected it to get passed. But as I said, the fact that 70% of the people in Oklahoma voted for it, I think, is overwhelming. And you see the juxta between the sentiment of the American people and what the media is propagandizing on a daily basis.
Pamela Geller, I appreciate your time today.
Jerry, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
The collective we, the royal we.
Okay.